Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, we are on a constant nightly quest for our rights in the Second Amendment, and this is the cutting edge. And a big part of what we do is we have to dive into the data to really undermine the leftist gun control agenda and narratives, because those focus group points are well rehearsed and we hear them a lot. But it's important because you can easily undermine them because they're built on emotion and they're not built on fact. The FBI just came out with some new statistics from 2020. Keep in mind, all the gun talking points that you've heard, and I'm going to address a few of them here because this FBI report destroys most of them. Enough of the setup. It's linked in the description box below, and I want to hear you guys on this and share this out because this information is how we win in the long term. All right. So the FBI came out with this thing, and before I dive too deep in, I want to remind you, number one of the gun control arguments. Black, scary, assault weapons, weapons of war. Those have to go away. Ban them. Ban them all. Common sense gun reform, universal background checks. Those things sound familiar? Listen to these statistics. Now, it's linked in the description box, as I said. I'm downloading Data Table 11, murder circumstances by weapon in 2020, and that's where we're going. Now, like I said, I set this up and say they hate rifles. Rifles are the Diablo, right? Handguns were responsible for 17 times more death than rifles. Knives and cutting instruments, 3 times more. Hands, fists, and feet, 1.44 times more than rifles. The thing here is you can't legislate morality. That's something we always say to the left because you cannot do it. But listen to the data, and this has got to be burning them up inside. But check this out. Total murder victims were 17,754. Now, that's a lot of people, but let's talk about the firearms in particular. 13,620 people were murdered with firearms. Now, keep in mind, they cut suicides out of this. 13,000 or 14,000 sounds a little bit different than 40,000, doesn't it? Manipulation via statistics. But let's look at where the actual format fell. Handguns was 8,017, and I'm showing you a bar graph right here. I made this. You can pull it from the data yourself. 8,000 people were killed with handguns, while only 454 were with rifles. That mirrors interesting data from 2019 we saw as well. Shotguns were 203, and this is the part that's fascinating. Knives or cutting instruments was 1,732. That is 3 times more than rifles. Are we going to go the way of London and say, hey, we can't have knives and bladed instruments anymore? Just saying, because by the logic of the left, by saving lives, you have to take away knives before you take away rifles. Right? Blunt objects, such as clubs and hammers, etc., 392. So almost as many as rifles. Not quite, though. Personal weapons, hands, fists, and feet. They're going to legislate away our hands, fists, and feet? Because 655 people died to fist, hands, and feet, while only 454 to rifles. The point here, guys, is we're going to mirror this in tomorrow's video where we look at the region and what happens by crime statistics, because that's incredible as well. Make sure you see that tomorrow. They always try to say that the gun is the issue, not the people. Well, if the gun was the issue, then why do we have more people dying with fists, hands, and feet? Always ask yourself the why, and that's crucial. The big thing that is huge out of this, and you can see the bar graph for yourself, like I said, send this out. Because this undermines completely the entire narrative around guns are the problem, because guns are clearly not the problem. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if Democrats or the gun control left, I'm not going to say all Democrats because there's a good portion that believe in gun rights. If the gun control left truly believed in saving lives, why would they not attack the handguns first? It's the biggest impact. It's the most lives that would be saved. Why? And the reason is simple. Because more people support the idea of having handguns because everyone knows it and it's a common thing to them. Rifles are a little more ostracized. They're a little scarier. They're a little more taboo. Not as many people own them, so you can't upset as many people. If this was truly not about control and about saving lives, they would attack the handguns right now. But they won't because they know it's a third rail. They will lose instantly. That's why they've got to start at rifles, then they got to back it in slowly until pistols are reclassified as assault weapons. And then pretty soon you can have a revolver. Then pretty soon you can only have a shotgun. Perfect example, Europe. Perfect example, Australia. And that is what they're doing, and these statistics blow them away. That's what I've got for you, the first part of this FBI statistics release, and I will see you tomorrow when we go into the actual regional statistics and where the murders are happening by weapon, because it is staggering when you look at gun control zones versus non-gun control. I'm Braden. I'll see you tomorrow night.